Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Chanel Taylor. I'm the Director of the Australian Export Awards team here at Austrade. I'm joined by my colleagues today, Rochelle, Nicolina, Gemma, and Sarah. I am delighted to host today's application workshop for the 64th Australian Export Awards. To begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we meet today and pay my respects to elders past and present. For me, here in Canberra, located on Ngunnawal country, I pay respects to the Ngunnawal and Ngambri people as the traditional custodians of this land. Thank you to everyone online for being here today. Today's session is being recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube, so it will be available to listen to again and share with anyone who missed it today. For those of you who don't know the business of Austrade, we help grow Australia's prosperity by delivering quality trade and investment services to businesses, accelerate growth in Australia's tourism sector, and promote Australia's education to the world. Austrade delivers the Australian Export Awards in partnership with our state and territory colleagues, some of who are online with us today. The Export Awards team is excited to tell you a bit more about one of Australia's most prestigious and longest running awards, and over the course of today's workshop, we'll cover a few key topics. We'll start with a quick overview of the awards history and then get into how the program works, from application at the state and territory level to being chosen as a national finalist and progressing to the national ceremony. We'll talk about why you should apply, including the benefits of the Australian Export Awards program for your business. Changes to the 2026 program, including our program guidelines, national categories, and category limitations. We've also got a new application portal this year, so we'll provide a walkthrough to give you some guidance on how to effectively navigate and submit your application. Our new portal has a simplified interface, and we're very excited to be able to deliver it for businesses this year. Last but not least, we'll be doing a Q&A session. Please add any questions to Slido. On the right side of your screen, you should see the QR code or website details to access and ask any questions, or you can click on the link we've added to the chat. You might also see Slido within WebEx itself, so please feel free to add any questions there as well. You could submit questions under your name or anonymously, or you can like other people's questions, and the most popular questions will move to the top of the list. Let's kick things off. The Australian Export Awards is Australia's longest running export awards program. It recognises the achievements of our most outstanding, innovative and inspiring exporters and the far-reaching impact they have on the nation's economy. In 1963, the Export Development Council wanted to recognise Australian businesses with outstanding export success. So Austrade held the inaugural Australian Export Awards national ceremony in Canberra on the 27th of November that year. The current purpose is to elevate and promote Australia's excellence in exporting and the economic and social benefits that trade and investment deliver for Australia. This year, we have updated the program objectives, which include showcasing Australian innovation and capability by promoting our world-class exporters across a diverse range of sectors. It involves recognising Australian exporters creating economic or social benefits for Australia, including through efforts to contribute to Australian export trade diversification, net zero transformation, First Nations outcomes, manufacturing capability, economic security or digital technology, or efforts to position Australia at the forefront of emerging industries, or efforts to contribute to Australia's national resilience or economic growth, including through growth in foreign investment to support exports from Australia to global markets. And finally, to encourage and support more Australian businesses to become export ready, diversify into new and emerging international markets, and to succeed on the global stage. I wanted to take a quick minute to acknowledge that we know Australian exporters are continuing to face uncertainty throughout a challenging time in global trade. Now more than ever, it is important to recognise and promote the incredible resilience of Australian exporters and the impact they are having on the global stage. As the Minister for Trade and Tourism said, this is an uncertain and challenging time for Australian businesses who are facing higher freight costs, insurance uncertainty, and limited options to redirect perishable exports to alternative markets. On the screen, you will see a range of services Austrade provides that can help navigate the immediate challenges businesses are facing, as well as additional services to help to help market and promote your businesses overseas. First and foremost, the Trade Resilience Service. Austrade has established a temporary Trade Resilience Service, or TRS, to deliver practical intelligence, insights, and advice to support Australian businesses navigating increased supply chain volatility. Operating for 12 months from April 2026, the TRS operates alongside the Accessing New Markets initiative, which is helping Australian businesses build resilience through growing and diversifying their exports. The Trade Resilience Service is delivered digitally via the Go Global Toolkit, which provides free information and resources to businesses at every stage of their export journey. A dedicated landing page has been made available, which has been added into the chat. That leads me to our next resource, which is our fantastic Go Global Toolkit, or GGT. Many of you are hopefully already familiar with this, but the toolkit is designed to help Australian businesses find information about exporting. The toolkit provides guidance, tools, and support to help businesses grow globally. It saves Australian businesses time and money by bringing exporting information together, aligning information to their export journey, and providing exporting support online. We also have the incredible iBrand, Australia's Nation Brand Toolkit. It is used by Australian businesses and industry associations of all sizes. Anyone that has an Australian business number is welcome to use the brand. You can access this resource from brandaustralia.com. And this is where you'll find information about the brand and a link to the Australia's Nation Brand Toolkit. The toolkit houses hundreds of free assets designed to work alongside your own brand and help it stand out. I'm now going to hand over to my colleague, Rochelle, who is going to talk about the program works and some of the changes that we've made in 2026.
Hello, thank you, Chanel, and thank you everyone for being online today. As Chanel mentioned, I'm Rochelle, and I'm the Australian Export Awards Program Manager here at Austrade. So you might be asking, how does the program work? For those that are new to applying, businesses apply in their home state or territory awards program. Applications are open now and they'll close on the 12th of June. State and territory winners are then announced at award ceremonies from August through to October. Eligible state and territory winners in the 13 national categories then progress as Australian Export Awards national finalists. On the 18th of November, national finalists come together at an award ceremony at Parliament House with industry, business, government leaders, and there the winners will be announced. From those 13 national category winners, one is also crowned the 64th Australian Exporter of the Year, joining a prestigious cohort of winners. So as you apply in your state and territory programs, here's a list of all the different state and territory programs that you apply in. What state or territory you apply in is based on the location of your organisation's headquarters or majority operations. The application process, the questions, judging criteria, it's the exact same across all states and territories. And that's so it's fair and equitable when it progresses to the national level managed by us at Austrade. Our state and territory program partners put in a huge amount of work over the year into running their awards programs and also supporting the national program. I know a number of you are on the call today, so thank you. Thank you for all your help. This year we've implemented a range of changes, some small, some a bit more substantial, that I quickly want to walk everyone through. The changes follow feedback from a range of stakeholders, from businesses that apply each year, our state and territory counterparts who work directly with these businesses, as well as government and ministerial representatives. So a few of the changes are on the screen here. We've refreshed the program's purpose and objective just to ensure they remain fit for purpose for both business and government. You heard these at the start of today's workshop from Chanel. We've developed detailed program guidelines that provides a single source of information on the program, from how to apply, clearer eligibility criteria, to our judging process and assessment criteria. The program guidelines make it easier and more transparent for businesses when applying. We do go more into the new assessment criteria and judging tips and tricks at our workshop next week. So please register and join us if you would like to learn a bit more on that. We'll drop a link a bit in the chat. We've also got strengthened eligibility criteria through inclusions such as broadening the Hall of Fame eligibility to include that a business can be inducted through either winning 3 times in the same or similar national category, or through winning 5 times across different national categories. The other eligibility is our emerging exporter eligibility, which has been updated to include that a business must be exporting for 2 years or less. This is a reduction from 3 years. We've got our new user-friendly online application portal and streamlined application process. This makes it easier for businesses to apply. We've also streamlined some of the information we request within that application form, such as businesses can now submit a letter from a certified practicing accountant that must attest to the business's financial stability. The other is we've reduced the number of export markets from 10 to now a maximum of your top 3 to 5 export markets. Last but not least, we have refreshed and reduced the national categories. We've also implemented limitations to the number of categories a business can apply for. I will go through this in a bit more detail now, as that's going to be the biggest change to some businesses. So as you can see on the screen here, the categories have been grouped into 2 different category types. So at the top, you've got the national sector categories. They represent export industries and sectors across a broad range of Australian goods and service exports. The second is the cross-cutting categories. They are not sector specific. They highlight the achievements of Australian goods and service exporters across the economy. The other aspect to this is that a business can only submit 1 application per category type. So I'll provide some examples of what this looks like shortly. However, I'll quickly show you what the 2026 categories are and how they fit within those new groupings. So on the left, there we go. On the left-hand side, you can see all the national sector categories, from agribusiness, food and beverage, down to international education and training, international health, through to sustainability and green economy. On the right-hand side, you have the cross-cutting categories, which is your emerging exporter, First Nations exporter, regional exporter, and small business. You might notice a bit of a change that we've removed the e-commerce category, which leaves a total of 13 national categories for this year. You need to make sure you're eligible to apply for the award category. You select, there's general eligibility criteria for the program that all businesses must meet. However, for those cross-cutting categories on the right side, these have additional criteria that each business must meet when applying for those. The program guidelines Chanel mentioned are your go-to source for all the general and category-specific eligibility criteria. So make sure you download and read through those guidelines. Some of our state and territory programs have additional award categories. These categories do not progress through to the national program. However, they give you an extra opportunity to be recognised in your home state and territory. So please have a look at the program guidelines, which have those national categories, or reach out to your state and territory program contacts. So some examples of how this might work, as you can see on screen here, we've got the two examples. So I'll read through the first example. So Business A harvests and manufactures avocado oil from their operational headquarters in Atherton, Queensland. Business A has an annual turnover of 8 million and has been exporting for more than 5 years. So with this in mind, Business A would be eligible to apply for the agribusiness, food and beverage category. That sits under that national sector category grouping, as well as either the regional or small business category, which sits under that new cross-cutting group. So Business A cannot apply for both the regional and small business. They're going to have to pick one or the other. That summarises some of the major changes that we've made this year. I'll hand over to my colleague Gemma, Export Awards Communication Lead, and she'll mention some of the benefits.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much, Rochelle. As Rochelle mentioned, I'm the communication lead here at the Australian Export Awards, and I'll go through the benefits of the awards program. So if you're wondering why apply for the Export Awards, what's in it for my business, and is it worth my time and effort? To put it simply, yes, and I'm going to give you an overview of the benefits of the program to your business. So as outlined on the slide, the main benefits of the award program to businesses are build credibility in the global markets, gain recognition, national recognition backed by Austrade, raise your business profile, strengthen your export strategy, celebrate your business achievements, and receive tailored benefits for different export businesses. So some examples of tailored benefits could include, for small and emerging exporters, they could receive increased visibility as a growing exporter, while First Nation exporters could receive increased opportunities to showcase their unique products, services, and cultural strengths. And for established exporters, it could be increased recognition for their export success and leadership, and reinforcing their global reputation and brand strength for these businesses. So to give you an example of a recent winner that has raised their business profile, the 2025 First Nation winner, Munda Wines, went on to sign 2 new partnerships to showcase their products to international audiences after winning the award. These partnerships are with Qantas and Live Golf. Austrade also supported Munda Wines to a trade mission in Japan, and the mission included a range of industry showcase events, attendance at the World Expo in Osaka, and several industry-specific introductions. So we see and hear each year the incredible impact winning an export award has on businesses, from boosting team morale and engagement to reinforcing a culture of growth and ambition within the business. And PWR Advanced Cooling and Technology, who have won 4 export awards from 2011 to 2025, put it beautifully at last year's ceremony when their CEO said, and I'll just quote him now, winning an Australian Export Awards is a momentous achievement for a business and its international profile. But its true value to us is in recognising our team members' dedication and effort over the years. So PWR are a prime example of an Aussie business kicking international goals. They started in a small factory in Queensland in 1987, and they now supply cooling technology equipment to all Formula One teams. So to share more about the benefits of the program, we've created a short video featuring some of last year's exporters at the national ceremony, just after they won. So I'll hand you over to the video now.
It is the most extraordinary recognition to be able to stand alongside the exceptional finalists that were in this category. This is an enormous honour indeed.
It's a great recognition for the work that they do. To have the validation and the recognition from the Australian Export Awards means a lot to us.
We're very excited to win this award. It was unexpected. We've emerged from a backyard business to a global entity, so it's lovely to be recognised for that hard work.
One of the cultures in our organisation is a culture of excellence and continuous improvement. We absolutely talk that every day, and we are constantly trying to improve ourselves. So when you win an award, it actually makes us strive to be even better.
This award means a great deal to us. It's not just for the team we have here, but it's for our team that we have all around the world, because we really want to showcase the quality of Australian education.
The awards themselves are such a high-profile award for Australian companies, especially those that are exporting around the world. For us, it was just an honour to be represented.
It's a great achievement as rewarding back our team, not just ourselves, also the community that we're representing.
Go for it. Yeah, 100%. You've got this. You've won it. You've already won it.
So as you can see, there are some happy winners from a range of businesses from last year's event. So last but certainly not least, we'll move on to the application portal before we close the workshop with a Q&A. So we have another video for you now, and this one will show you how to navigate the brand new application portal. We will also post this video on YouTube so you can re-watch or share with your colleagues or other businesses that also might apply. So over to the next video.
Export Awards application portal, managed by the Australian Trade and Investment Commission. It reflects our Australian nation brand colours. Please note that each state and territory portal has their own branding, so you will see different colours when accessing a state-based portal. In the green box in the middle, there is information on how to start an application and, most importantly, a link to the new 2026 program guidelines. In the white box, you can see the key dates, which you can refer to at any time. To start an application, in the login box on the left side, enter the email address to be used for the application. After your email has been entered, you will need to retrieve the 6-digit code sent to the email address to commence. Once entered, you will be able to create your password for the next time you log in. Once logged in, you have important award information at the top of the page. To log out or edit account details, click the drop-down by selecting your name at the top right of the page. Click Profile to edit any contact details. To start your application, click the Start Entry button. You need to complete the Category Selection tab to see the rest of the sections of the application form and easily navigate between all tabs. Some states have state-specific categories. These categories do not proceed to national level but use the same entry process to apply in state categories. As you can see in the first box, you have the option to select either national categories or state categories. Select the one that applies, and for today's demonstration, I am applying in the national category, Agribusiness, Food and Beverages. Once selected, the category description will appear. Scroll down and add your business name. You must agree to the terms and conditions set out in the 2026 Australian Export Awards Program Guidelines. Once ready, click Save and Next. Once you have clicked Next, you can navigate through the section tabs at any stage of your application. The application portal will automatically save every few seconds. You can invite other staff in your organisation to also assist or complete the application form. To do this, you will click the plus button at the top right next to Collaborators. Collaborators can have different permissions. Collaborators can view, edit, and submit depending on the permission assigned to the user. This feature may be useful if you have multiple people working on the application across different sections. We encourage you to read and use the guidance provided against questions in the application form. The guidance is on the right-hand side of the page in the grey box. I'll now guide you through each section and the questions. Please note I have pre-filled all the information for ease. The first section is Business Introduction. You can see under each section if it is scored and if so, the weighting assigned to the section. As you can see here, this section is not scored, and majority of the information is not visible to judges. The only section judges will see is the business name, the year the business was established, the year the business commenced exporting, and a bit lower into this page, if the business has previously won a national award in the last 2 years. The rest of the information on this page is for internal purposes only, such as our due diligence checks outlined in the program guidelines. Please ensure you read and answer each question carefully. If you would like to preview your responses and review the whole application, select the Preview button. Otherwise, after you have completed each section, click Save and next move on to the next section. This does a force save, so will minimize any data missing if you move sections through the tabs at the top of the page. The next tab is Section 1, Your Business Story and National Benefit. This section is scored and has a weighting of 40%. There are 7 questions in this section. However, the first 2 questions are not scored and are for promotional purposes only. The remaining 5 questions in the section will contribute to the 40% weighting. Each question has a maximum word count. You will not be able to submit your application if you are over the word count. An exciting element of this portal is the guidance text. As you can see for questions 3 through 5, we have listed the assessment criterion per the program guidelines. This is the criteria the judges will use when assessing each application. Please read the guidance carefully as you are completing each section and make sure you are appropriately addressing the criteria. Please be aware that the criteria may not be directly related to each question. Judges will use responses throughout each section to help them assess how a business aligns to the criteria. Section 2, National Category. This section is scored and has a weighting of 20%. This section only has 1 question and has a maximum of 300 words. The question will change depending on what category you are applying for. If you are applying in 2 categories, you can only apply for 1 category at a time. However, you can simply duplicate the form, which I will show you how to do at the end of the video. Once you complete the section, click Save and next to move to the next section. Section 3, Business and Export Growth Strategy. This section has a score weighting of 40% and has 3 questions. As you can see in the section, there are 2 criterions in this section. Judges will use responses to question 3 to also assess how a business addressed the criteria. A friendly reminder to stay in the word count and answer the questions with the criterion in mind. Click Save and Next when ready. Section 4, Finances, HR and Grants. This section is not weighted and will help judges validate your answers throughout the entire application form. Please answer the questions accordingly and add all information to the relevant fields. Under Question 1, Human Resources Data, we have included an optional text box if you would like to detail any seasonal or casual workers employed. For Question 2, you will detail export revenue across 3 financial years. There is again another optional text box that allows you to explain any year-on-year changes. We recommend you complete this field to explain any changes to judges. Please note that we understand that it is close to the end of a financial year, so data in the 2025-2026 financial year only have to be estimates. Question 3, Export Markets. Enter your top 3 to 5 export markets. We encourage where possible to include information against all 5 markets. However, we note some businesses might not export to 5 different markets. Question 4 and 5. If you are ASX listed, upload the necessary report. If you are not an ASX listed company, you have 2 options. Option 1. You can provide the financial data for your profits, assets, and liabilities. Or Option 2. You can attach a letter from a certified practicing accountant that attests to your financial stability. The last question is Question 6. Here you will advise of any state or federal grants you have received. If you have received multiple grants in one financial year, please try where possible to include the total figure for the grants and provide the purpose of the grants in the text box next to the amount. Reminder to click Save and Next before you move on to the final section. The final tab is the Attachments tab. Here you will need to provide a range of images or videos that are for promotional purposes only. Images or videos are not judged and judges will not see the section. Please provide 2 business logos, one of them being a reverse logo which is black or white and must be transparent. You will need to upload 6 images and the file size of each image must be 1 megabyte or higher. Once you are ready to submit, you click Submit Entry at the bottom of the page. If there is an error, you will be alerted with the tabs underlined in red and the question incomplete will also be red. Navigate back to the missing field, update it and then click Submit when ready. Once you have submitted, you should get an email confirmation. You will then be diverted back to the Enter page, which you will see a table below of your entries. To apply in an additional category, you can copy your completed application. To copy your application, tick the box on the left-hand side and click the copy button. Give it a few seconds to load, and you will then see 2 applications. The new copied application will show as in progress under the status column. You can then click on the business name of the additional application form. Once it opens up the form, you can then select the second category you want to apply for. All information is carried over from the first application you submitted. So all you need to do for this second application is update the category here under the Category Selection tab, and then navigate to Section 2, National Category tab to answer the question for the new category. It is important to update your response to the national category question. As you can see, the judges will look for specialised knowledge of that sector. Once you have completed the additional application form, click on Submit. A reminder that a business is limited to applying to 2 national categories this year. However, this is subject to eligibility. Please read the program guidelines to understand this further. If you experience any issues with your application, get in touch with your state or territory program contacts. That wraps up the demonstration for the new 2026 Australian Export Awards application portal. Thank you.
Thank you. A very informative video. I'd just like to thank Nicolina for pulling that video together. So we'll now move on to answering your questions in Slido. So the first question, which I'm happy to read out. What was the reason for reducing the Emerging Exporter Award criteria from 3 years to 2 years?
So I can jump in on that one. Thanks, Gemma. So it was really more of a clarification of the eligibility requirement here. So in previous years, emerging exporter was listed as anything under 3 years, and every other category was anything over that 3-year mark. So what we've really tried to do is just clarify it a little bit more, so that 2 years for emerging exporter now is realistically anything that is, 1 day shy of 3 years. So it was really just to try and sort of clarify the requirement there.
I'm happy to keep reading out the question. So the next one, which has got 2 votes, is I would like to know if not-for-profit organisations qualify to apply.
So generally the answer to this is yes, pending the eligibility criteria. Not-for-profit organisations are eligible to apply, provided they can demonstrate the genuine export activity, international revenue, measurable economic and social benefits aligned to the program objectives that we mentioned earlier. What I would suggest is make sure you read those program guidelines, check that eligibility criteria, start the process and see how you go. You can also have a chat to your state and territory contact as well if you're still not sure after you've read through that documentation.
Great, thanks Chanel for that answer. The next question is, it would be great if you could elaborate more on how Austrade help benchmark performance of Australian businesses against their peers. Is it against Australian peers or global peers?
That's a really great question. So it's probably, winning an award helps you benchmark against your peers because it provides that independent third-party validation around your performance and innovation. So it's less of that formal comparison against a fixed set of Australian or global peers, but instead that application process where the judges look at the assessment criteria. And then, using their commercial and sector expertise, they look at how that business is performing, for its expected size, sector, stage of export maturity, and their awareness of both the Australian and international market contexts. So for more detail on how those applications are assessed and what helps make that benchmarking possible, you can check those program guidelines has all that information.
Great, thank you. Our next question is, are previous year application statistics published publicly? Would like to know how many applications are being made by category per state each year. Where can we source this data?
That's a great question as well. I love all these questions. I'm looking at them in Slido and I'm excited to answer some of them. We don't generally share that information publicly. In some of our communications around the event, we do sort of talk more broader figures. You know, last year we had 95 national finalists, I think it was, and overall numbers of applications, but we don't generally share the specific statistics.
Thanks, Chanel. Our next question is, we have been exporting for over 2 years, but just under 3. Which category do I apply for? I might throw this one over to Rochelle just to mix things up.
Thanks, Gemma. Great question. And as Chanel touched on, to be eligible for every category, excluding that emerging exporter, it's the 3 years of more of financial of foreign revenue. So if you can't provide 3 years and you're at that 2 years, 2.5 years, 2 years, 11 months, emerging exporter is your category.
Thanks, Rochelle. Next question. Are small family-owned resorts eligible to apply since we earn international revenue from overseas booking, international marketing, inbound tourist services?
I mean, the very simple answer for that one is yes. Absolutely. Speak to your state and territory contact if you want to discuss it further, but I believe you're sitting under the professional services category, which tourism and business operators sits under. So again, check those category descriptions and eligibility, and you should be absolutely able to apply.
Thanks, Rochelle. Next question is, I've submitted my application but want to go in and change some details. Can I edit and resubmit my application?
Another one, absolutely, yes, you can. You are able to go into the portal Awards Force at any stage to edit a submitted application up until the closure date. So please feel free to do so. And if you've got any issues, reach out to State and Territory or us here at Austrade.
Thank you. Next question is, thank you for the portal demonstration. Where can I access it? I'm happy to answer this and let everyone know that we'll have the recording of the workshop, including all the videos available online shortly, and we'll send through links very soon.
Just as a possible clarification there, it might have been a dual meaning. The portal itself to log in and access it is through the registration page on the Apply Now page, I should say, on the Austrade website, or potentially your state and territory websites as well. But yes.
Thanks, Chanel, for that clarification also. Next question. My business is based in Queensland, but the goods are produced in New South Wales. Which state should I apply in?
So this one's a tricky one. We get this question a lot. So if you can demonstrate that the majority of your goods are produced in New South Wales, and there's a really strong business case to show that, you are likely eligible to apply in New South Wales. The program guidelines show that if it is based on where your ABN is registered or the majority of your business operations. So again, I would suggest that you have a chat to the state and territory representative, and they may check overall with us if they're not sure either. But if you've got a really strong case to show that your goods or service is delivered in another state, then it could potentially be valid for that state as well.
Great. Thank you, Chanel. Just a reminder for everybody online, if you'd like to vote for a question, you can use the thumbs up emoji in the top corner in Slido, and that'll bring the question to the top of the list. So our next question is, last year I applied in e-commerce. What category can I apply for this year?
I'll grab that one. Great question. You should ultimately apply in the category that best reflects what you export, for example, your product or service, or what that sector is. So if you do a lot of e-commerce or digital channels, you should highlight that within your response within the application. But there's a lot of synergy between e-commerce and our creative lifestyle, but just double check those category descriptions. Without further information, we can't help too much, but again, state and territory partners are your go-to for any kind of sticky questions there.
Thanks, Rochelle. Our next question is, I'd like to know more about applying for the state-based categories. Are there restrictions around how many of these a business can apply for, in addition to the national categories? Also, can you copy/duplicate your national category application to start a state-based category application?
The answer to the latter, can you duplicate? Absolutely you can, and you can just change from national to state and then select your state-based category. Some states, only limited states have that state-based questions, so, state-based categories. So there are some restrictions, i.e. over in Queensland, we have an international women's category. So if your business is not run by women or led by women, obviously you can't quite, you're not eligible for that one, but double check the program guidelines, which lists it. If there's 2 state-based categories and you're eligible for both of those, and you can also apply for 2 national categories, then you can apply for 4 in total. But again, reach out to Austrade or your states and we can kind of help pick through those details a bit more.
Thanks, Rochelle. Next question, is there a fee to apply?
No, no fee.
Easy one, that one. Okay, next question. Can we start our application online and save progress? Come back to it step by step.
Yes, absolutely you can. The portal itself saves every few minutes, I believe. I still highly recommend hitting the save button occasionally as well. But yes, you can come back to it at any stage and keep working on it. And as Rochelle said at the start of the questions, I think it was, you can once up until the time the application's closed, you can continue to make changes to your application.
Great, thank you. Next question. I want to apply for more than 2 categories similar to previous years. Why have you limited how many categories I can apply for?
Sorry, I can jump into that one.
Yep, go ahead.
We've limited the number of applications a business can submit, not only to streamline the application process, but just to make sure that the sector that a business is applying in best aligns to their brand and their goods or service. We've previously seen businesses apply for a raft of categories, I suppose because they can and there was no limitation, but there's not always that strong alignment to that sector or that service. So I'd absolutely recommend just having a bit of a kind of stock take of what category you think you best align to, and really strengthen your responses to suit that sector and that category.
Great, thank you, Rochelle. So we've got 2 more questions before we close today's workshop. The first question is, I don't want to provide my financial data. Do I have to?
That's a mixed question. Or a mixed response. This year, as I mentioned earlier, we've introduced allowing businesses to attach that letter from a certified practicing accountant. That letter must obviously attest to your financial stability. So that reduces you, in a sense, providing all those detailed assets and liabilities, etc. But we definitely encourage businesses, if they can, to submit that financial data. However, you can, of course, submit the CPA as support. All information in your application, including your financial data, is treated as commercial in confidence. It's not used for anything other than administering the program, and also for our judges. So your data is stored safely with us here at Austrade, but yes.
Thanks, Rochelle. And the last question is, it's very challenging for smaller organisations to apply, and even more so to afford to go to the Canberra finals. Would Austrade be willing to sponsor sending finalists to Canberra for the Small Business and Emerging Sector Awards?
That's a really great question. Unfortunately, it's not something that Austrade can help with, but I really would suggest, I know I keep saying this, but I would suggest having a chat with your state and territory representatives. They may have some opportunities available at their level to help with that. No guarantees, but that's probably your best bet to have a chat there. Okay, I'm very conscious of the time. We're just a little bit over. We had some technical difficulties. Apologies. So I just again, I want to thank everybody that has joined us online today. Again, this will be shared on YouTube, so you will be able to access it again later. I'd like to thank Rochelle, Gemma, Nicolina, and Sarah for helping us run the session today. And a reminder that we do have that. We do have the judging tips and tricks session next week as well. If you haven't already registered, I believe the link is in the chat space or it is on the Export Awards website. Applications are open until the 14th of June, and you can visit the Export Awards website to find out more. And you can click now to start your apply now to start your application. Look out for a thank you email from the Australian Export Awards team with a link to today's presentation and some links to the services and materials we've referenced here today. Thank you again, everybody, for your attendance today. We look forward to receiving your applications. Thank you so much.